Okay, thanks. Share the screen. This is Sim. Okay. I also uploaded the new PowerPoints because one student recommended that we upload the PowerPoints before the class. Then I uploaded the class and I forgot to send a message corresponding for this uploading in the Telegram group. I uploaded. Today we want to talk about linear algebra and singular value decomposition. If you have any questions about the previous chapter, about the previous sessions, please ask. If not, I will continue. Okay. For your class, we are here. Linear algebra, and it is related to reference C. Okay. And as I said in the Telegram group, I close it. After the time frequency analysis, image processing and analysis, I think we must have an exercise. Let me to check it in the group. Yeah. Then I must set an exercise and I upload it in the LMS. Okay. Then we start our session. It is a 7 session. 7. Okay, in the name of God, we start our seventh session. This session we want to talk about linear algebra and singular value decomposition. This topic is related to reference C. Part 3. Excuse me, just a moment. Related to reference C, part 3, chapter 15 of part 3 of reference C. And as you see, it is linear algebra and singular value decomposition. In this chapter and in the 2 next chapter, independent component, and in chapter 20. We in these 3 chapters, we want to study feature reduction or dimensionality reduction of feature vector. We want to be familiar with different algorithms like SVD, singular value decomposition, PCA, principal component analysis, and DMD, dynamic mode decomposition, and ICA, independent component analysis. Step by step, in these 3 chapters, we will familiar with this algorithm. Okay. And as I said previous, at first review the PowerPoints, and then after that refer to, for example, in this session, to chapter 15 and study it with more details. In this way, you can understand which subscribes are more important for us and for our class. First, we want to familiar with some transformation. I'm sure you know something about linear algebra, about matrix products. We all of us be familiar with these topics in high school. But I just review a little because we need some of them. When you have 2 vectors, yes, this, as I said in the first, the PowerPoint is uploaded in LMS. First, consider 2 vectors. Consider 2 vectors, E1 and E2. If you want to rotate it, in the center, along the center, with theta angle, then in the field of algebra, linear algebra, you need a matrix. For example, here you have E1 in these 2 directional coordinate and E2. Then you need, if you consider the blue vector and you rotate this E1 with theta, and if you attention to this figure, after the rotation, the projection of this blue vector along x direction is cosine theta, and along the y direction or x2 direction here, or vertical direction, it's sinus theta. Okay, sinus theta, the projection of this vector. Yeah. Okay. Then, if we gather in one matrix, we can write this in the rotation in this matrix. And for the red direction, it is minus sinus theta and cosinus theta. Okay. Another thing, if you want to stretch these vectors, stretch means consider the first vectors and the second in the right. Compare the blue in the left and blue in the right, red in the left and right. One of them is stretch and one of them compress. Yes? Okay. Then the matrix here for doing this linear algebra transformation is matrix like A. A is a diagonal matrix. Diagonal means that only in the main diagonal direction we have values. Of course, here the both of diagonal value are as the same. It is not related to these figures, because one of them is stretched and another is compressed. Then they cannot be as the same. If they want to do, it is better we rewrite alpha with beta, for example. Okay, alpha greater than 1 and beta is less than 1 according to this figure. But totally in general, the stretch or compressed matrix is like this A matrix. Okay. For example, A here is a matrix that transfer X to Y, change X to Y. How it works? Consider this A here is 2, English, 2, 1, minus 1 and 1. And then if we multiply it by X, 1 and 3, the dimension of the first matrix is 2 by 2, and the dimension of the second is 2 by 1. The result is 2 by 1. You know this. And how this matrix multiply? The first row multiplied in this vector, and the result is as the first value of the matrix of 2 by 1 of the result matrix. And the second row multiplied along this vector, and the result is the result yields the second value of this 2 by 1 matrix. For example, 2 multiplied 1 plus 1 multiplied 3 is 5. Here we can see. And minus 1 multiplied 1 minus 1 plus 1 multiplied 3 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. Yeah, is 2. Okay. And this A is the mixture of rotation and stretching. In the book, you can see the result of this matrix. Okay. Any questions? Yeah, no problem. Haydar, I don't know, Haydar or Haydar Sadun, no problem. Okay. And in the SVD, the main is in SVD, I mean singular value decomposition. Singular value decomposition, I called it SVD. We shorten these phrases to SVD. One phrase in this and one keyword in SVD is eigenvector and eigenvalue. Eigenvectors and eigenvalue. What is the main context and concept of the SVD is related to these two keywords, eigenvectors and eigenvalue. In SVD, we want to say that if we have a matrix, M by N matrix, we can decompose this matrix to eigenvectors and eigenvalues. And what is the eigenvector? Eigenvectors